Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Missy Heydrich, and here at the 2024 Women's Basketball Media Day, and now joined by coach and players from the University of Cincinnati. Katrina Merriweather, now in her second year at Cincy, and she is joined by three players: fifth-year senior forward Jillian Hayes, junior guard Ariel Jackson, and senior guard Tanea Hilton. Welcome to all of you. Coach, your phone rang a year ago last March. You returned to your alma mater as the head coach. As you look back at sort of this whirlwind of year one, as I'm sure it was, what did you take from the season and what the Big 12 and the gauntlet that it really is and what it's all about?
I think there were a few things. Being back in Cincinnati is incredibly special, and it was amazing to see the investment that was happening into the athletics and then also into our women's basketball program. So to come in with facilities being new and locker rooms being new, it was really apparent that it was important that women's basketball was going to be successful, and that made me feel really good. When we got into Big 12 play, I think we realized very quickly how talented players were, how great coaches are, and how many teams were going to be in the top 25. And so what we did was we started to celebrate small victories. And I thought that we did a really great job rebounding the ball, but there are obviously some areas that we had to improve on. And I thought that we did a good job being where our feet are and taking small steps forward. And I feel like we're going to do that again this year.
That's not an easy thing to do, no doubt about it. But one of the things I think we talked about a year ago is that in a position like you were in, you have to almost recruit the kids that were there and see what that looks like. And recruiting is changing now for all of you on a daily basis. But how important is it going into year two to have veterans like this and people back that you can blend with new faces from the portal and freshmen?
I think the mix that you're referring to is essential. You have to have the people who have the experience of the travel of the Big 12, what it looks like to be in those arenas where there's so many fans, so there's not as much shock value. I think in the locker room they probably can prepare each other far better than I ever could because it's their experience. So I'm really proud that we have the group back that we do. Recruiting has changed significantly, but our staff is just always going to say, we want people who want to be Bearcats. And so the people that we have are the ones that we know are invested. And that's what's important when we bring in new ones, because then that culture just extends out to them as well.
What has struck you about this group as practice has officially begun, and what have you liked from them on the floor?
My favorite thing is we take better care of the ball. that to me was, our Achilles heel last year. And there were a lot of reasons for it. Like most teams, we had some injuries. And I think that just playing people out of position had a lot to do with it. But the addition of Tanea has made this team look just that much better. It allows Ari to be in her natural position. It makes Jill be able to receive the ball and not be worried about passing and catching. And so now she can go back to being the great finisher that she is around the rim. So I think that that's my favorite thing. But the next thing would just be their tenacity defensively. We're going to be better in that area too, which is always really important to us.
I've got a couple questions here for the ladies. Fifth-year senior forward Jillian Hayes, an all Big 12 honorable mention selection a year ago, top scorer for this Bearcat squad the last 3 seasons. You had another great year last year, and then you make the decision to come back. What went into that for you, and why was it important to return for this 5th year?
I think it was really important to return. I feel like I had unfinished business. Trina and her staff are incredible, and I just always say there's no other place I'd wanted to be. Cincinnati's home to me, the community and all of that. And I just think we have something really special that we're building, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Ariel Jackson, 23 starts last season. What was your focus in the off season after you've had this first year, the taste of the Big 12? What did you say, this is what I got to be better at, this is what I have to improve on?
Now with Tanea here, I can move back to my true position. So just trying to be more aggressive with the ball. And I've been working on my defense, trying to be in the right spaces for my team and things like that.
Well, Tanea, it seems like a lot of people are very happy that you are here at Cincinnati, not only on and off the floor. A transfer to the Bearcats from Texas A&M. it's a lot of new things when you make that move, and it's on the floor, off the floor. You have spring, summer. But what has it been like for you in terms of getting going in practice, and how have you approached it from a day-to-day basis?
I would say taking it day to day, figuring out ways to improve on my weaknesses, figuring out ways to help the team improve, whether that's defensively, offensively, and just working together as a team for sure.
As a point guard, as a primary ball handler, what is it about this system that Coach runs and what we're going to see from the Bearcats on the floor that I think is going to help elevate you all going into this season?
I would say allowing everybody to play their true selves. So that's tying into Ariel, being able to go back to her old self and playing the way she plays, allowing me to facilitate for the team, allowing Jillian to finish around the rim. So I think it just ties into everyone playing their role.
All right, to all of our media members out there, if any of you have a question, please raise your hand. I think we have Cynthia will do right here in the front. There you go.
Hi, Cindy Brunson, NBC Sports and University of Arizona basketball. Coach Merriweather, for you, not many folks look like you when you go into a room at the conference meetings. What does it mean to you to be a black woman in this space as a leader, as a mentor, and who inspired you to become a head coach?
I think that the inspiration starts, my father was a coach, and he'll say it was his father that got him into it as well. And coaching for us is really just teaching and being impactful to young people. But you can't talk about being a black female in coaching without talking about C. Vivian Stringer. And I grew up in Indiana where the Big Ten tournament was in Indianapolis. And so my dad would get us tickets, and I would watch Iowa play. And then she would have Tiffany Gooden and Angela Hamlin and all these people who were from Indiana. And as much as I should have been watching them, which I did, I was watching her. And I think that she was such an inspiration in that space. And as you've mentioned, I think all of us can't wait until there's a lot of diversity in every space. And so I look forward to not being the first or the only or one of the few, and it being something that is common so that we don't have to talk about it as much. But while we still do, I am very proud of that. And I hope that we are setting a great example for all the young people out there.
We've got another question right here.
Coach Matthew Poston's Heartland College Sports. You've got 3 of your top 4 scorers returning this year, plus you have Tanea now. But you've got a large group of players from a depth standpoint that either didn't get to play a lot last year or were redshirted. How has their development gone this summer coming into the fall?
I think one thing that I love about this team is how committed they are, not just to our system or to me, but to each other. And you can see their chemistry on the floor. Because of social media, we can also see their chemistry off the floor, from TikToks to everything else that they post. I think that we're going to continue to celebrate small victories. And I say that a lot because I think in order for us to get to these main goals, we have to acknowledge where we are progressing and where things are getting better. And so we do our best in that in practice, where we're extremely competitive, and we watch a lot of film, and we are communicating openly and honestly about things where people need to get better and work. And I think because of that, we have created an environment where we can talk about being better and growing, and no one takes it personal. Everyone just goes back and tries to be the best they can for the team.
We've got time for one more question right there, sir.
Coach, Keegan Nicholson with Bearcat Journal. Your first year was in 2016 with Wright State. You're a head coaching veteran. But what did year one in a power conference like the Big 12 teach you and challenge you, and things that you might have to change or adjust about your coaching style?
Well, thank you for saying that. I don't feel like a vet in the Big 12. There's so many coaches that have been doing it for 10 and 20 years, and I'm going into year 9, but thank you anyway. I think that what you have to do is it's a chess game out there. You know, and I think a lot of the time when you have really talented players like we did at Wright State, you walk in and you know you have a great chance of winning the game. And I feel like we walk into the Big 12 and every game is a 50-50 game. It can go either way. So our preparation, I think, is different. And I think how we approach scouting is different. And it's not to say that we didn't have talented players and coaches in previous leagues. It's just saturated, and it's every night. And there is no day off where you can skip and prepare for the next person. You better be locked in on who you got next, because the only game that matters is the one right in front of you.
Well, she mentions small victories, but I think there's going to be some big ones on the horizon for the Cincinnati group. Coach, players, thank you so much for being here this morning. When we return in just a few minutes, we will be here with the coaches and players from TCU.